Um, what do you want to talk about?
I thought you were
So you should, huh?
interviewing me.
I am. It's pre-interview. So go ahead and put the microphone right in front, and you can move it however you want.
Okay.
It should be good. Is this weird?
A little bit.
Are you nervous? Don't be nervous.
I'm not nervous. I just don't know what to do with my hands.
No one's looking at your hands.
I just referenced the movie.
What movie?
Talladega Nights. He's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
I don't remember that part. So I'm really bad at remembering. Unless the movie's like really, really good, like a Will Smith movie,
It
or
is
like
a
something.
really, really good movie. That movie was a classic.
Talladega Nights.
Yes.
I mean, it was pretty corny.
No, come on.
The only
Will
thing.
Ferrell is funny in that movie.
The only thing I remember in Talladega Nights is the little baby Jesus, and he's like, "Dear baby Jesus, I can pray."
6-pound infant baby Jesus wrapped in a golden diaper.
Yeah, I can pray to any Jesus I want. And the other thing I remember is the two twins, and they were talking about we do everything together, even poop. One ploop.
The twins.
The twins. There was like two twins. There was like one set of twins, and they were talking about how they do everything together, even poop.
I don't know
And that,
what you're talking
I
about.
mean,
Are you sure it's in that movie?
it's definitely in that movie.
I haven't. We'll have to watch it.
That was Ricky Bobby, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ricky
definitely-
Bobby!
Definitely in that
If
movie.
you ain't first, you're last.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the only two things I remember in that movie.
Son, you want to go fast? I just taped 10 kilos of the best Bam Bam under your car. You better drive fast. And I called the police.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Ricky Bobby!
I remember what movies do I remember? I remember movies like The Pursuit of Happiness.
That's a good movie.
I remember that. I remember like all the Marvel movies. I mean, I like
I'm not
comic
Marvel.
movies like that. You what?
I'm not Marvel.
What? You're DC?
No, I don't do Marvel, DC, superheroes. Wasn't my gig.
How are we friends?
Because I do musicals.
Music.
And you like music.
So you like what? Like Hairspray?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else?
White Christmas, which is coming to Tulsa
White Christmas.
in just a
I
couple
haven't
days.
I haven't seen White Christmas
Ever?
ever.
Bing Crosby?
Yeah, I mean, I know
never,
who's in it.
never seen it?
Never.
Never.
No.
It's on Netflix. We can watch it.
You want to just watch it right now? Just forget the podcast. Just
No, I'm just saying, we can watch it.
we can watch it.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen White Christmas. I've heard the song. I'm dreaming of a white
I can do
Christmas.
anything you can do better.
I have heard that. So,
I can do anything better than you.
no, you're not.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
can. No, you can. Yes, I can.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's from that movie?
Yep.
I did not know that. So there was like my mom used to make. Well, she didn't make us, but like she like for some reason we were into like old like those old movies. Were they like from the 60s, 50s, 40s? I don't know.
Where are you going
It
with
was
this?
Before I'm saying like we used to watch this. There was like this variety show
The
called.
Lawrence Welk Show?
No, it was called not Ziegfeld Follies. It was like I can't remember.
From the
That's Entertainment. It was called That's Entertainment. And it was like a whole bunch of these old like little like the musical numbers of these old movies. Yeah, and like I remember seeing that song like perform like with these incredible dance numbers and things like that. I remember like Singing in the Rain. I actually saw Singing in the Rain. This is a very long
Great.
movie.
Have you seen?
I wouldn't say it's great. It's very entertaining.
Oh, it's great.
It's not bad.
It's great. It's a classic.
It is definitely a classic.
Yeah. Have you seen
I
Bye
don't-
Bye Birdie?
Probably. Which one is
76
that?
trombones at the
Oh
big
yeah,
parade.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I definitely don't
Mary
remember that.
Poppins.
I've obviously seen Mary Poppins. Yeah, I've seen
That's
that.
one of the classics.
You guys are gonna see that later on, right?
Yes.
You and your son
And my mom.
and your mom.
So we're going to binge watch the original,
Mm-hmm.
Saving Mr. Banks, which is actually, so that movie is actually, basically they're saying that's like the prequel
Mm-hmm.
to, so it's basically the story, because the story behind Mary Poppins
Uh-huh.
is Walt Disney Mary Poppins is actually a book.
Yeah.
And and for years I didn't know this. And so the lady that wrote Mary Poppins, she wasn't going to give the rights to do the movie. And it took 2 decades for him to convince.
Yeah. 2 decades?
2 decades.
Wait, what?
Yes. Yeah.
So
one
I don't
day
think the movie
will
makes that clear.
No. And so one day I want to collect all of those books because the books are different than the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Most definitely.
each book has a different Mary Poppins. But it talks about the mythical character,
A different Mary Poppins?
a different type of Mary Poppins.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
what's that one European show with the, where he gets in like the phone booth or whatever?
I don't know.
That people are probably yelling and screaming at me for getting wrong right now. And there's
You're
like a
on your
different,
own.
it's like a different actor every single time. Like this time it's a woman.
I don't know. Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. No, it's like, well, I don't feel it's bad because you don't know it, but it's, what is it called? And it's like, they're doctors or professors.
I don't know.
And they can like, I feel like they quantum leap, but like they go to like different like realities or whatever. You don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, well, holla at me in the comments.
Serious. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna try anymore.
All right.
But welcome to the Aaron Michael King Asking Questions podcast. I'm with my friend Anita
Hello.
Tipton. Sweet like Lipton. You know I was gonna put that in there, right?
Of course.
Anita, there's something special about you.
Everything's special about me.
You are a very special person. We won't talk about those things. No, but you have CRPS,
Yes.
right? Okay.
What is that, Aaron?
Good thing you asked. I brought with me on the show a professional on the subject.
No one is a professional.
No
If
one?
you really no, there is no
What?
professionals on CRPS.
Well, what's CRPS stand for?
It is
first?
complex regional pain syndrome. It's also known as RSD,
And what's RSD stand for?
regional symptom dystrophy,
Okay.
or symptom. This depends on, but it was actually RSD, and that was dictated as a label for this disease until the mid-90s. And so in the mid-90s, they decided that this is more complex than just a regional thing. So it could be in your foot, in your hand, in a limb, but yet now they've realized it spreads. And so now, because it spreads, it's complex. Because it doesn't just stay in one region anymore.
Like one region of your body.
Yeah,
It
one
can
region of your
like,
body.
So it like
So-
starts at like one, like it could like start in your foot.
Yes.
And then like start growing up
Yes.
your leg and stuff like that. Oh.
Your
wow.
other leg, your other foot, your arm. Basically, what CRPS is it's a nerve disorder. So it's generally triggered. There's 2 types. So you can have type 1 or type 2. So the first type is triggered by a surgery or a needle prick or some type of injury. And the nerves send out antibodies to go fix the nerve that's damaged. And so when they get to that nerve, they realize they can't fix it and they get really mad and angry. And then they take that signal back to their central nervous system. And by the time that gets back there, your antibodies are mad. So inside the lining of your nerve bed are these little antibodies, and they're mad all the time. So you are constantly in pain. So the basic feeling that you feel is either like a shock, electricity, or a burning. So they call it's like a fire disorder.
Interesting.
You'll see a lot of things about putting out the fire or things like that, because that's what the feeling is. It's like a constant burning. And so
Is that the one you had?
yeah,
Type 1.
mine's more electricity. Yeah, so type 2 is very rare. It's more like it's a genetic. It just randomly happens. And but you can get CRPS. People have gotten CRPS from getting their ears pierced or
Really?
getting blood taken. Yes, or a
What?
tattoo or any type of thing that's picking your skin or any type of
That's
anything. You can get it from getting a flu shot.
What?
Yes. If it hits a nerve in the
I've
wrong
never-
way, you can get CRPS. And it's,
Yeah.
I mean.
So is
there-
it from? Is it being triggered like just from actually being pricked, or is it like something in your body that, like, it's like kind of like dormant?
Nope.
That needs to be.
It hits the nerve. And when your
so it's
antibodies, it's an autoimmune disease.
Mm-hmm.
So since it's autoimmune, so our bodies are set with all these cells that go to fix things, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what our autoimmune system does. It fixes things and it heals our body.
Mm-hmm.
And when it can't work properly, it gets mad. You know, like people have, autoimmune like lupus,
Mm-hmm.
or different autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, things like that. And when our bodies can't function the way God made us to function, it gets mad.
Yeah.
Because God made us to do one purpose.
Right.
And when those antibodies can't
That's
do
real.
their purpose, they get mad.
Yeah, it's like,
They get
oh,
really
what's
mad.
going on?
Yeah, they get really mad. And by the time it gets to your central nervous system and starts spreading, you're pretty much, gone. It will just keep spreading. You have a 70% chance of it spreading within the first year. And then it
Spreading to like,
other parts of your body.
Okay.
And it can continue. And there is no cure. You just
cure.
continue treating symptom after symptom. So they do consider this, the CDC does consider this a rare disorder because there is no cure, there is no treatment. That is saying, okay, we're going to say this is specifically for this because everybody's nerves interact differently. So my nerves will respond differently to a different therapy than somebody else's. So it's very hard to do types of research that needs to be done. Plus, a lot of people don't know enough about it to pour money into it.
That
So
makes sense.
every single thing that they want you to try is not covered under insurance. It's all,
oh, because they're still learning. Like it's
they're
still like
still
practicing.
learning. And so there's a lot of the medicines that they give you is treating symptoms. We're treating symptoms. But the big thing right now is people are being forced off of pain meds,
Forced off.
because they're saying that too many people are having opioid related deaths.
That makes sense.
So, but it's real. But the people that are having opioid related deaths aren't pain victims, aren't chronic pain patients. They are
Right.
people that have it
and they're just hurting.
or taking it off the street. And fentanyl is killing more people, than the actual opioid itself. But because of that, they're getting people off of it. They're putting them on no stuff. So almost every single day, somebody with a chronic illness, not just CRPS, is committing suicide, is killing themselves, or
It
they
just
die from
hurts
pain.
so bad.
Yes, they
Oh, my
can. They can
goodness.
no longer survive.
Well, I mean, what other alternative are doctors prescribing
Well,
or suggesting?
Well, marijuana is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
You have the CBD, and that's a big one.
Have you tried any
The
of those?
actual, I tried CBD. It didn't work for me.
It didn't?
Did not work for me.
I heard good stuff about CBD. I
Yeah,
actually
it
just
is.
got some tincture oil.
So CBD is good for a lot of people. It's good
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of things. We have natural CBD receptors, CBD1 and CBD2,
I've heard about those.
in our body. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is natural because this is something that was used long before, we were even in existence.
Right.
Not saying we're old or anything. But I believe...
I mean, we're both like 25, right?
Yeah, I wish.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that I was watching something sometime, and it said that they banned hemp because people were
Where?
making. I think it was like in the 1940s, 1930s.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like now.
It may have been earlier than that, but they banned it in the United States because they were making plates and paper products out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when that came down in the United States is we're not going to use it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And which really struck home to me because you think about, Native Americans and all these people that were here long before we had Western medicine, they had to survive.
what they were
somehow, and
using.
they were
Mhm.
using what the land provided.
And it's always, I don't know, it's just always interesting to me, like when you think about like whether it's Native Americans or even like Egyptians, like years and years and years, years ago, and, like they figured out how to use like these herbs and like just the stuff that grows around them to like heal their
they had to.
ailments.
They had to.
Like they didn't have modern science at all. They didn't have, like they were dying from, like regular like flus and things like that. But like still they were able to, find these natural healers.
Well, there are still witch doctors.
I'm not messing with that.
I'm just
I'll take the pills.
There's witch doctors. There's natural medicine. There are places that you can go, but like, again, you have to have the money to do that.
That's true.
I mean, there's a lot of options you have, but there's not a lot of options you can afford. So anybody that has an illness that you can't treat, I mean, you're constantly looking at what can I do? What's the next step? And there comes a time where, you know, the doctors in Tulsa can't treat you. I mean, here in Tulsa, my doctor's pretty much tapped out.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
So you have to deal with that too. I mean, because only 4% of PCs know about this.
Know about it.
Know what
Like,
it is. Know what it is.
That sounds ridiculous.
Well, if you really research it, and that's the first thing they tell you when you get diagnosed, is you are your only advocate when it comes to CRPS.
How many people have it?
In the United States, it's 200,000 was the last count.
That's it. 200,000.
And the world is close to 1 million. But that's
Only 4. Did you say 4%? Only 4% of doctors?
4% of PCs. That's
Okay, so
primary care
primary care,
physician.
okay.
Know about it and what it is, and if they saw it, could they treat it or could they recognize it?
Okay.
So, and I don't quote me on that, but that was something I found throughout my research. You know,
Okay.
but because it is so rare, I mean, but I did do a lot of research. Like I dug in
I
deep.
bet.
I wanted to know what it was. I wanted to know about it. What were my options? You know, and a lot of what I'm saying is just all stuff from, you just got to research. You got to get online. You got to start reading. You got to get into books. You got to get into medical journals. Stay away from blogs. Like, because
kinda
some
makes
of those
sense.
people are kind of putting in their twist on it.
Don't know what they're talking
so
about.
what I did was I read medical journals from
That's
testing
smart.
that was done. A lot of the universities are testing different types of medications, different type of treatments. So I read a lot of medical journals from a lot of doctors. There's also a lot of YouTube videos of the doctors that are doing those testing, and that
That's
helped a
pretty
lot.
cool.
Yeah, so that if anybody was going to look into something, like even
Yeah.
if they didn't have CRPS, but any type of illness, start with the medical journal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of where you go, because I mean, you can get to the big hospitals, you know, and they have a team working on something.
That's good.
So
really
that's
good.
where I got a lot of my information. But it's a very scary
I bet.
disease.
How long have you had it?
Over a year,
Over
just
a
a
year.
little over a year.
So, and you said you have type 1, right? So it was, like, were you getting like a shot or were you?
I had tarsal tunnel surgery. Tarsal tunnel is basically carpal tunnel, but it was tarsal tunnel. It's in your foot. And so after my surgery, my foot never healed, and the swelling never went down, and the redness never went down. They thought I had an infection. They thought I had cellulitis. And they treated me with antibiotics for 6 weeks. Wasn't going down. And then finally, thank you, Jesus, I had a good doctor that
Knew what it was. Seriously.
And he diagnosed me, got me to the right doctor, and I started getting
That's good.
what they call spinal injections. And so what I got was actually they go in and they put like a nerve block in, and it lasts generally.
Now it's just to take care of the pain, right?
Yeah. Well, what they did is I did a sympathetic nerve block at first, and it doesn't touch the pain. What it does is it relieves your sympathetic nerves. So your sympathetic nerves is going to be your swelling, your sweat, your redness, all those types of things.
Oh, so it just stops
So-
it from.
Yeah, so
feel
it
like that's
brought the
kinda
swelling
dangerous.
down, it brought the redness down, and it brought all that down. So
But it didn't actually like solve
it
any of
doesn't
the
stop the
problem.
pain. No,
Okay.
because in order to shut your nerve off from the pain, you'd be paralyzed. You couldn't
Okay,
move
so
your
let's
leg.
not do that.
Because that's a gross motor skill.
Right, yeah.
So over the course of the year, I've joined groups, CRPS groups, and I have been in touch with people that, you know, that have CRPS, and
That's good.
ironically,
You have like a family almost.
yeah, and it's good because you feel like you're not crazy.
Yeah, especially if there's only 200,000 instances like or cases in America. You know, you
Yeah.
want to surround yourself with people who, you know, are dealing with the same type of thing, because like you can't even really tell. Like I can't really tell that you know, are suffering right now, because like you're hurting all the time, right?
Right.
Yeah, I can't really tell. You know.
Well, it's not an outside thing. It's an inside thing. So if I showed that I was in pain all the time, I mean, I don't think I'd be a very good person to be around.
Probably. That
So,
makes sense.
I think that you have days where you really physically can't move, and those are days that you have to listen to your body. And then, you know, there's a big controversy in most of our groups about why do people judge us? You know, they're saying, well, you don't look sick. well,
Yeah,
why did
like
you
this.
go? Why did you go to the store? Or why did you go do this with your kids? Or why did you do that? Well, guess what? I still have a life, and I want to live any part of it that I can. Because there's going to come a day where I can't walk, where I'm confined to a wheelchair. Or there's
Yeah.
going to be a time where I can't do the things that I can do. And since I've been off my pain pills, since they took me off mine, I mean, my life's changed 180 because,
And I've seen that too. 'Cause
and
I think you were doing something. It was simple, like shopping. Like I came over here and you had just finished shopping, and you just looked visibly tired. I was like, what's she doing? And I honestly, I really didn't even understand. And I'm guilty of being like one of those people where it's like this girl, like there's no way she's this tired from just being outside. You know what I'm saying?
well, even having a sock on hurts.
That's
And you can
crazy.
witness that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one pair of socks I can wear on that one foot.
That's very interesting.
And you got to think about the nerves. So the nerves on the bottom part of my foot are dead, completely fried. They're just dead. It's just,
And that's from that one surgery, right?
Yes. And then the top part is hypersensitive. So that feeling of hypersensitivity comes up my leg and through my body. So I have to be very careful about the types of clothes I wear, about how I wash them, how long I have on certain clothes because they will start to irritate me. My hair being on my neck, like you'll see me doing this a lot because the hair on my neck will start to irritate me, or my necklace. You'll see me doing this because y'all start getting irritated. But it's just a little bit of friction against that skin, and
just real sensitive to the touch.
So because your nerves are already at a heightened state, so if I have any type of stress or any type, I didn't sleep last night, or any type of additional stress, or the things that I've been through over the past couple of months would probably be another podcast, but just the stress of life. And that adds.
Yeah, I mean, because life is stressful enough already. You know what I mean? Like everyone I talk to, they're going with something, just insane. Everyone, like no one's life is perfect.
Right.
And I think that's something to think about too. Is that we look at our own lives and feel like, oh, well, my life is trash. I wish I was more like this person, or more like this person, or the exact opposite, where it's like, man, what's wrong with those people? They have all the opportunity, but they're just wasting it away, but you never really know what someone is dealing with. People are dealing with just horrible stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm talking to like 7 people, like 7 close friends, and they're all dealing with just way less stuff that you would never even think, is plausible in regular, happenstance. And, just after talking to, people who are older than me, they just confirm like life is pretty much a tragedy, but the trick is just to take that knowledge and be positive with it. But anyway, a sock.
I really don't like wearing socks or shoes. Shoes are brutal.
Really?
Shoes are horrible. I hate wearing shoes, any kind of shoes. Except for my pink shoes, but I can't wear those. So
those are like sliders, right?
Yeah,
you can't wear sliders
shoes the least amount of time possible. But I'd like to go back to kind of recap, like when you have a life-changing alteration. So if you had asked me 2 years ago if this would have been my future, I would have told you no. But
because it's only you said only like a year ago, right?
A year.
That's crazy.
But I'm telling you, when you have something that changes your life forever, you see things differently. You enjoy things differently. You hurt deeper. Like everything changes because it has to change.
Yeah.
Because
otherwise it'll kill you.
My life has changed. My heart has changed because I'm telling you how many people get up every day and take that for granted. I can put both feet on the ground. We take so much for granted.
Yeah.
And I think just that alone has really changed the way I see things, the way I view things. I don't know when it's going to come a day where I can't get out of bed or I can't walk anymore or I can't do whatever. But that's why I do try to do as much as I can, and
good.
Do I overdo it? Absolutely. Should I do half the stuff I do? Probably not. But I think that there comes a sense of you don't want to lose yourself.
In the music. Because, the moment you own it,
Right.
you never let it go.
But I think really if I give into my disease and am I losing myself? I have to think that, especially being a mom. I mean, how many things has my son had to witness or had to, forego,
How does he deal with it?
So far, I mean, he's been very good. Like, he knows when I'm really hurting, and he either can't, or there's some days I can't be touched. Like, he has to stay, on his
side,
space, on
right?
his space.
Like, don't touch me.
Don't touch me. And he knows, like, there's sometimes, like, we'll be on the weekend and it's just like a down weekend where I can't go. And that, or, just little things like, going and walking the zoo or going, and like, those are things I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you have to get like a hover round,
I can see you in a hover round.
Beep, beep.
Yo, put some 20s on that hover round.
I'm going to put some purple and white streamers on it.
You can put some purple and white streamers. You know what I'm saying? Get the little horn,
It's
get
gonna
the
be
little
awesome.
bell. Put some spinners. Don't do spinners. People don't do spinners anymore.
But it's I mean, we joke about it, but in real life, I mean, that is life, I mean,
That literally is life.
it is. I mean, that's a reality that I may face. And I don't know if that's 5 years down the road, 2 years. I don't know. And only my body knows. But if you don't move, you die. Because CRPS will eventually cripple you. It will literally freeze your muscles. Eventually, there's actually 3 stages of CRPS. There's actually and a rare fourth one. If once you get to stage 4, you'll die. But most people don't get to stage 4. But
That's
the
good.
ironic thing about it is you can be in 1 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 or 3, 3, 1. You can be in any
You
of
can,
those
like,
stages.
skip them.
Yep, they don't go in
Okay.
order. They're all over the place. And so
I guess because everyone's nerves are different.
yes, because
That makes
everybody's
sense.
nerve is
Okay.
different. And so there's no way of managing this disease. It's generally
At least not known
it's,
now.
it's generally a day by day process. So like me going to the store wears me out. Okay, should I be in the little cart buggy, the little wheelchair thing? Probably, but there goes
would.
my freedom. I gave
is
in.
it.
I lost. And I.
So you're probably definitely way stronger, now because you're fighting than you would have been if you just, get in the
right.
hover around,
Right.
or,
Right.
just, be okay with never doing anything.
Right. Well,
Again.
someone told me in one of my groups, we often forget that we're not normal. And so when I go do something, then I may have to spend 3 days in bed recouping.
3 days?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh my goodness.
So, I mean, there's times where you think, okay, well, I want to go do this thing with my kid. Or I want to go do this with my family, or whatever the case may be. And then when you get back, you go into what we call it's called a flare. And so when you go into a flare, your whole body just freaks out.
Oh my
And
goodness. Just hurting everywhere.
you hurt everywhere. You're on fire. There's a thing called an ice cold sensation. So like my feet will be either super hot and feel like I dipped them in water, ice cold water, or they'll be super cold and feel like someone lit them on fire. Like they're cold to the touch, but the sensation I feel is hot. And what that is the transmitter that goes to my brain
It's just busted.
is busted. Basically, it's
Golly.
busted. And so they're working every day on trying to find out what's going to create those neural pathways to come back. And ketamine is one of the big things right now, not covered under under the
Well, what is
CDC, FDA.
ketamine?
Ketamine.
What is that?
It is a drug that they can give you in several different ways. And it basically is supposed to rebuild those pathways,
Oh, okay.
is what I've read.
So
I've tried the rub-on kind, like they put in like a little pump thing and you rub it on.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like a numbing thing, but it's not. That kind isn't like doesn't
lotion.
rebuild your neural pathways. It just
Okay.
numbs it. It's like just a temporary relief.
Okay.
Then the one I'm currently doing is it melts under my tongue like wax pellets. It's
that
horrible.
sounds like it tastes good.
Oh, it tastes disgusting. But it makes my tongue numb, but nothing else.
Okay.
But the ultimate goal is to get the injections.
Okay.
And so when you have, so people like me can't go under anesthesia because I'm on a certain medicine that I can't do that. And so when if I would have to have surgery, I would have to have the ketamine instead of anesthesia.
Tilt your microphone up a little bit because I wanted to get everything that you're saying, all the beautiful information that you're giving to us. So ketamine. Ketamine. It's ketamine
Here.
though.
This tells you how to pronounce it. I think, no, this one doesn't.
Well, just tell us because on the
Ketamine.
people who aren't watching the YouTube video.
Ketamine.
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 So here in Oklahoma, it's ketamine.
Yeah, ketamine. Give me them ketamine injections.
So you can actually, ketamine, they can put it in a lotion. They start you off at a real low dose, 5%. Lotions, well, which you do at a compound pharmacy. The wax you do at a compound this is all done at a compound pharmacy because it is not FDA approved. The reason
That
why
sounds cool.
The reason why ketamine, I actually Googled this the other day. So ketamine is actually a very cheap, inexpensive drug. The drug itself is very cheap, but because the drug itself is very cheap and inexpensive, it doesn't. No one wants to put the money towards, no company or no one wants to back the drug
pharmaceutical companies.
because they're not. So what happens is when a drug company says, well, if you back this, you're going to make X amount of dollars when we go to sell this. Well, they're not going to make the money back. So
good Lord.
they decided that
Everyone's chasing money.
Yep.
So they forget about,
they've decided that-
solving people's ailments and keeping people from dying.
They don't want to do that. So they've decided that nobody wants to put the money in it because there's not a return on investment for the people that are putting the money in. So,
is there and I know this kind of off topic, but is there a organization that people can send money for the research and stuff like that? Oh, okay. I guess you're gonna get to that. All right, well, keep on going with your story, ketamine.
There's actually several places you can send research to. The main one would be the RSD-CRPS website. There's Hope for CRPS. So it's Hope RSDCRPS.com.
Okay.
You can go to that. That's one of the main ones that does, and they go to all kinds of research centers. But there's actually only one CRPS hospital in the nation, and that's in Florida. But right now, so since I'm they want me to be doing the injections, and I obviously can't afford them. So to get
How much are they?
To get them done in Tulsa, it's going to cost me about $5,000, and that's just for one round.
One round.
Yeah, and if they do work, then you have to do boosters.
So a second round and third round.
Yeah. So and depending on how well your body takes it, that depends on how often you have to get the boosters.
Because everyone's nerves are different.
Everyone's nerves are different.
So it could be from a week to a week.
Some people can go months and even up to a year.
Okay.
But so the most common is you're going to get 2 to 3 injections your first week, and then they go from there. So my doctor wants me to go out of state because there's only one doctor in Oklahoma that will do it. There's one in Oklahoma City, but he's not. There's other places that are cheaper when you go to a bigger city, obviously. So if I went to Denver, Dallas, St. Louis, Phoenix, if I went to a bigger city, I could probably get a lower rate.
Okay.
There is hope that maybe the insurance may cover part of it, depending on my diagnosis. So I'm waiting for the insurance company to call me back.
Oh, well, that's good.
But they will not cover all of it.
Okay. Well, that's good, though.
When you get the injection, 90% of your cost comes in the doctor, the nursing staff, all of the machines, because you typically will have three IVs going at one time because you have fluids.
What?
You have one for the injection. It's called an infusion.
Right.
And then you have...
I get squeamish about it.
Then you usually have a tube just kind of... that will be feeding just different types of... outside of the fluid because you're basically... the ketamine will put you into almost a coma state. You basically go to an unconscious state. And so what they do is... I've seen this on YouTube videos, but if you would Google that or search it, they do they take you down to a really, really
Like
legit
bare
state.
minimum.
And so what they do is they ask you questions, and so that's why someone has to be in the room with you at all times.
Like a known, like a
Yes
a
or no
loved one or something.
questions. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so like a nurse or somebody will be in the room with you.
okay.
Because they have to keep monitoring your vitals,
Uh-huh.
and they have to keep monitoring like how close you are to unconsciousness.
Oh my goodness.
So they have
That's
to
some
keep
real
you
scary
awake.
stuff.
And so they ask you like, what is your name? What is your dog's name? Like, what day of the week is it? But like, they will ask you very short yes or no questions or one answer, questions, but they won't ask you anything complex
Right. Well, that
because
makes sense.
you're at a place where,
Yeah,
you're
you're-
already on the verge of like,
Yeah.
sleeping eternally.
Good Lord.
But like I said earlier, that's something that they use for people that have like an emergency surgery or something where they can't do the anesthesia.
Okay.
So it's definitely, I guess, something that is used often. But it doesn't work for everybody either. There's people that have been on it for years and then all of a sudden it stopped working
Just out of nowhere.
out of nowhere.
Just nowhere. Oh my goodness. So,
So-
but that's your next step is to get the.
That's what my doctor says is
Injections.
my last step.
That's the last step.
There are next step. There is no B. That's that we only have one plan of action, and she basically won't see me anymore. She's willing to schlep me off to another doctor.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope you get that. Like I really do. I also hope that research progresses quickly. So that there can be a plan B. Seriously. But I mean, you are dealing with it quite well. Like,
Thank you.
I must say, like, from all that I've heard. I mean, I've watched some YouTube videos as well. There was another girl, I can't remember her name for the life of me. I should have looked it up. But she contracted it the same. I don't know if it's contracted, but she got a CRPS the same way. It was like something happened with her foot. She was like a dancer. She's a professional dancer, and I think she like sprained her ankle, like landed wrong on some jump or something like that. And she went to get it fixed. There was like her foot just swole up to something amazing. She couldn't put shoes on and stuff like that. And like that's when she realized that she had CRPS. And she basically says the same thing that you've been saying. It's just, sometimes she's in shooting pain. Lots of people will judge her and act like, nothing's really wrong. But like you guys, like I can attest right now, like I can, like there are definitely days where I can tell that it hurts more than.
Yeah,
most.
I mean, but it's like anything. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days. But I mean, I think if you try to keep as much of it as and be as normal as possible, then it's almost like you're tricking your brain. And it's not so much tricking other people as it is yourself. Living life to the utmost best.
Well, I mean, if you conquer the mind, you conquer anything.
Yeah. But I mean, lots of people have told me, well, you don't look sick. And
Well, I mean, that's good. I feel like-
there's actually a shirt that says, for CRPS, it says, I don't look sick, you don't look stupid. So that basically sums it up. It's like, how nice.
CRPS clapbacks.
How naive do you have to be to, honestly say that to somebody, you don't look sick. Well, just because I don't look sick, or, because if someone has cancer and they're going through chemo, they lose their hair. Or, if someone has
That's
lupus,
real.
their skin starts to changing and or changing colors, and you can see those things. But you don't always see a sickness. It's not like I have a runny nose or my hair is all there. It's thinning out, but those are things you don't see. And a lot of the things that happen with the neurological disease, you don't see because all of our nerves and all of our things are on the inside. But
course.
at the end of the day, if you saw our feet, you would see the difference. Or if, whatever I did that day and I overdid it, you would see the difference, But as a whole, I'm not going to be like, oh, look at my foot. You want to see what happens when I
Yeah.
do too much? You just don't, you don't go out and say, I am sick, let me prove it to you.
Yeah, I mean, you
that's-
wouldn't like a person who's like that anyways. Like, hey, you want to see what's wrong with me today?
Right.
Like, that would be, no one likes that person. Like, oh, woe is me. Like, oh, this is what I had to deal with today. Like, no one wants to hang around
But you
those
still,
people.
I think, for the most part, need to find a compassion for people that they may not look sick, but they are sick. And we need help remembering, that we're not normal, but we need you to understand that we're not normal, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think understanding goes a very long,
it does
long
go
way.
a long way. And a lot of people, well, what is that? You know, will take time to look and research. And I just told someone the other day, I think there's only one person really in my life that has really fully researched what I'm going through. And that's sad. I mean, you think about all the people in your families and your life, and only one person can take the time to fully research, because it's not like reading one day. It's time and time and reading and really putting effort into finding out what it is and what you're going through and how hard it is and what the struggle is. Because it's, you know, the saying, the struggle is real. The struggle is real, you know? And without people fully taking the time to understand, they don't understand that, you know, just because I may come out and look like, you know, if I went to standing in church, it's one of my biggest things.
Oh, yeah.
I will not, one of my biggest things is I want to stand to worship. That's one of my things. So if I go and stand to worship, was someone going to tell me, well, you don't look sick? You think God's going to sit there and say, well, you're not sick because you stood to worship? No,
Right.
he's going to say, well done, because I know you were going through this, but yet you pushed through and you stood.
Like the sacrifice was greater.
And I know that even when I'm in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter if I stand or not stand. But what I'm saying is, right now, there's certain things that, you know, I can do that everyone else can do, but maybe in a year, 2 years, 5 years on the road, I won't be able to do that. So it means that much more to me now
That's good.
that I can do that. But I want someone to understand that. And I think I can speak for a lot of people in the CRPS community that don't judge us by our actions all the time, but support us through the things that we can't control.
Yeah, it sounds like you actually deal with that a lot.
I don't deal with it as much as some people, and I see a lot of people in my groups that struggles, but I really don't talk to a lot of people about it. And I think I'm more quiet to myself. And
Well, thanks for coming on my podcast and letting everybody know. Everybody knows now because everybody watches this podcast.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody.
ERR, aura, body.
Body.
That's how you spell it.
I think though that for me, for a long time, it was a sign of weakness. Was expressing what I have was a
That's
sign of
interesting.
weakness, because you don't want to seem weak.
That's interesting you say that because, you know, if you think about lots of other people, well, I know when I think about myself and like some of the things that I know are wrong with me, and some of the things that I feel like, you know, I should be better at, are things that are just things that I can't fix. You know, when you think about it, if you explained to people what you have problems with, like people would have a better idea of how to deal with you and how to, you know, respond to you. But I think for fear of looking weak and fear of, you know, just like I don't think most people want to want pity, you know, or just some, you know, they don't want to feel judged. So that's why we don't, you know, come out with it and say, you know, hey, this is, you know, I'm in trouble with this, or, you know, I'm weaker in this area than others. Because we feel like in America, there's just such a high standard that nobody can live up to. But like everyone is secretly, you know, expecting these standards from everybody. And that's, you know, that's terrible. You know what I mean? But we've all, you know, conditioned ourselves to expect these standards from everybody. And I feel like if we just, you know, take time to, you know, communicate and just try to have a better understanding for people, we wouldn't be so scared to do that.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
But I don't think I think people are scared because I'm weak and I don't want pity. I don't want anybody to have pity on me.
And I mean, it doesn't make it.
But I want you to understand.
Yeah.
When I can't, you know, do stuff or, you know, that to me is more of where I stand is don't pity me.
Right. And I mean, I don't think it makes
sorry for me.
I don't think it makes it any easier to, like, in this day and age, like people are just way more apt to just lash out and judge. Like you said, it's like, oh, well, this girl, she obviously isn't in pain. Like, you need to just figure it out, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what people do on the internet all the time. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make it easy.
No.
For anyone.
It's definitely not.
But we will pursue that. We'll pursue better. I mean, I will anyway. This podcast will change the world.
One life at a time.
One life at a time. One listen at it. One download at a time.
One life.
One life.
It only takes one life.
It does. It does. It definitely does. Your life has definitely changed mine. I mean, you've helped me see a lot. Just knowing you and seeing what you go through. You definitely have. It's definitely been a blessing, just being around you and seeing how you interact with people and your son and the way you interact with things that interact with you. I've definitely learned from you, for sure. For sure.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope people have learned from this as well. What else do you have to say for all the podcast listeners here?
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
You have to put your trust in God and knowing that no matter what we face, He's going to carry you through it. And my biggest scripture through this is, I will forever brag about my weakness, because that's where God can be made perfect. And I will never be strong again. And so for eternity, I get to brag about how weak I am, because that's where God is going to be made perfect. And that has been my battle cry throughout this whole thing. And I'm not saying I've been frustrated at God, like, why God? And I think you go through that the first couple months because it's a shock. You go through the shock. But then once you realize it, it's like, okay, God, how can you use me? And, I've kind of started my life is life on fire. I'm physically on fire, and I'm emotionally, spiritually on fire, because God's perfect right now, because I'm weak, and that is up and down all the time, but God sees that, and He balances all that out. And that's truly what it is just giving your trust to God no matter what your situation, because we're weak, we're humans. And if we can say, God, I am weak, but I know that through you I am strong and I can make a difference. And I think that's my takeaway, is live your life on fire.
That's legit. Well, I like it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for today. Anita Timpton, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
You have any social media you want to be followed on? Can we follow you? No? Don't follow Anita. Just remember.
I don't know how to do that.
That's fine. We'll see y'all later. Perfect. That was good.
Why did you set me up like that? Can I follow you on social media? I don't have an Instagram or follow account or Twitter account.
You have a Facebook, though?
I don't want people on my Facebook.
Okay, that's fine.